Part 1. The Deception Protocol. The hegemony's war chamber hummed with the soft blue light of holographic displays. 12 alien admirals, representatives of the founding species, stood around a central projection showing a small, unassuming vessel drifting near Earth's moon. The ship's hull was patchwork metal with visible welding seams. Occasional bursts of exhaust puffed from its rear thrusters, causing it to wobble slightly in the vacuum of space. Is this truly the best they can produce? Admiral Zexterra asked, his segmented mandibles clicking with barely contained amusement. The Arthrosian's carapace gleamed under the chamber lights as he gestured toward the projection. This junkyard collection. The other admirals joined in derisive laughter, all except one. Fleet Commander Dravkor, the highest-ranking military leader in the hegemony. The tall, gray-skinned Valerian studied the projection with narrowed obsidian eyes. Humans have survived 3 extinction-level events on their homeworld, Dravkor said quietly. They've mastered atomic power in less than a century after discovering flight. We should not dismiss them so readily. Look at it, Commander. Admiral Garish bellowed, his massive reptilian frame shaking with laughter. Their hull is pitted with micro-meteor impacts. The propulsion system is chemical-based. They're still using radio waves for communication. Dravkor's expression remained impassive. Perhaps. Our spies report they call this vessel Intrepid, their latest prototype. Admiral Lysera noted, her luminescent skin pulsing with patterns of amusement. It's been under development for 15 standard years. The projection zoomed in on the vessel's hull, revealing crude painted lettering and what appeared to be makeshift repairs. Enough, Dravkor finally said. The High Council has decided. Their system has resources we require, and their defensive capabilities are negligible. We will proceed with annexation as planned. Deep beneath the lunar surface, in a facility hidden from both Earth and hegemony observation, Dr. Eliza Chen watched the same feed with quiet satisfaction. The massive underground chamber housed dozens of engineers and military personnel, all focused on various workstations surrounding a central holographic display. They're taking the bait, she said, pushing a lock of silver-streaked hair behind her ear. At 58, Chen had spent the last 20 years working on Project Phantom, humanity's secret response to the discovery of the hegemony 30 years prior. General Hammond nodded beside her. The decoy is performing exactly as intended. All sensors indicate they've completely bought the deception. And the real Intrepid? Chen asked. Hammond gestured to another screen showing a sleek obsidian vessel hidden in high orbit above Neptune. Unlike the decoy, this ship bore no visible engines, no external components, just a seamless black hull that seemed to absorb rather than reflect light. Ready on your command, Doctor. Chen's eyes remained fixed on a primary display showing the hegemony's observation vessel, a massive crescent-shaped craft hovering just beyond lunar orbit. They've been watching us for decades, thinking us primitive, backward. Today they learn how dangerous it is to underestimate humanity. She turned to her assistant. Begin Phase 2. Aboard the hegemony observation vessel Vigilant Dawn, Science Officer Telek frowned at his console. The Cerebri's enlarged cranium pulsed with neural activity as he studied the readings. Commander, I'm detecting anomalous energy fluctuations from the human vessel. Commander Meraxi rose from her command chair. Explain. The signature is unfamiliar, Telek said, confusion evident in his voice. It appears the vessel is. A blinding flash erupted from the human ship, causing the observation windows to automatically darken. When the light faded, the human vessel had disappeared. Where did it go? Meraxi demanded. Unknown, Commander. No warp signature detected. No debris field. It's simply gone. Sound alert status. Deploy scanning drones. Find that ship. On Earth's moon, inside the hidden command center. Dr. Chen smiled as alerts flashed across hegemony channels. Their decoy had successfully deployed its primary weapon, an electromagnetic pulse layered with a quantum disruption field that had temporarily blinded every hegemony sensor within half a light minute. All hegemony vessels have lost tracking capabilities, reported Lieutenant Santos from her communication station. Their emergency protocols are activating. Perfect, Chen replied. Time to show them what humanity can really do. On her command screen, a simple message appeared. Phantom activated. Admiral Zex Terra paced the war chamber, his exoskeleton clicking with each agitated step. How could we lose track of such a primitive vessel? Perhaps it was destroyed by its own power systems, suggested Admiral Garish. These humans barely understand the technologies they cobble together. Dravkor remained silent, his expression thoughtful as he studied updated reports flowing into his neural implant. Something didn't add up. The annexation fleet is assembled and awaiting your command, Admiral Lissera reminded him. This minor anomaly shouldn't delay our plans. Dravkor finally spoke. Deploy the Vanguard only. Have them establish a staging area in the asteroid belt before proceeding to Earth. A waste of time, Zex Terra objected. Our intelligence confirms they have no orbital defenses beyond a handful of primitive satellites. Nevertheless, Dravkor said, we will proceed cautiously. 12 hours later, the Hegemony Vanguard, a force of 40 warships, emerged from hyperspace near Mars. They arranged themselves in standard conquest formation, heavy destroyers in the center, flanked by cruisers and screening vessels. No response from the humans, reported the communications officer aboard the Vanguard flagship Inevitable Dominion. Their primitive detection systems have likely only just registered our arrival. Fleet Captain Jorrox nodded. Establish the forward base as ordered. Prepare for. Captain. New contact. The sensor officer interrupted, his voice rising in pitch. Single vessel, appeared from nowhere. It's directly behind our formation. Impossible. Jorrox snapped. Nothing can penetrate our sensor screen without detection. A new hologram appeared, showing a sleek black vessel unlike anything in the decoy footage. This ship had no visible propulsion system, no external weapons, just a smooth, perfect hull that seemed to drink in the starlight. Hegemony Vanguard. A calm human voice transmitted on all frequencies. This is Captain Marcus Rivera of the Earth Defense Vessel Phantom. Your presence in this system is unwelcome. You will power down your weapons and prepare to be escorted out of Sol space. Stunned silence filled the bridge before Captain Jorrox recovered. This is absurd. 1 vessel against 40. Open fire. All batteries. The hegemony ships reacted instantly, energy weapons charging and missile tubes opening. But before they could fire, something extraordinary happened. The human vessel pulsed. There was no other word for it. And suddenly, every weapon system across the hegemony fleet went dead. Propulsion systems followed moments later. 40 warships, representing the pinnacle of hegemony technology, drifted helplessly in space. What did they do to us? Jorrox whispered. On the main viewer, the black ship moved with impossible grace, weaving between the disabled hegemony vessels. It stopped directly in front of the Inevitable Dominion. This is your only warning. Rivera's voice came again. Earth is not defenseless. Earth is not primitive. You have 1 hour to restore your systems and leave this system. If you return, there will be no further warnings. The black ship pulsed once more and vanished from all sensors. In the hegemony war chamber, chaos erupted as reports from the Vanguard fleet filtered in. Admirals shouted over one another, demanding explanations, strategies, reinforcements. Dravkor stood silent amid the storm, reviewing the scant data they had on the human vessel. Something about its capabilities seemed familiar, terribly familiar. It can't be, he muttered. What is it, Commander? Admiral Lissera asked, noticing his distress. The technology they're using, Dravkor said slowly. If I'm right, it resembles theoretical work on quantum field manipulation that our own scientists abandoned centuries ago as too unstable, too dangerous. That's impossible, Zex Terra insisted. These are primitives. They were launching chemical rockets just 70 years ago. And yet, Dravkor replied grimly, 40 of our warships now drift powerless in their system. He turned to face the Council of Admirals, his expression grave. We have gravely miscalculated. Prepare the main fleet. All of it. Back in the Lunar Command Center, Dr. Chen watched the Hegemony Vanguard slowly restore power and retreat from Sol space. Beside her, Captain Rivera removed his neural interface helm, the connection to the Phantom temporarily severed. They'll be back, Rivera said, running a hand through his short black hair. And next time, they'll come prepared. Chen nodded. Of course they will. But now they know we're not the easy conquest they imagined. General Hammond approached, his weathered face grim. The quantum disruption field worked perfectly, but the power requirements were enormous. The Phantom will need 12 hours to recharge. And if they return before then? Rivera asked. Chen turned to face a massive blast door at the far end of the facility. Beyond it lay humanity's true secret, the culmination of 2 decades of reverse engineering fragments of alien technology found buried on Mars. Then we deploy the Nemesis, she said quietly, and may whatever gods they worship have mercy on them, because we certainly won't. The Reckoning. Dravkor stood motionless before the Hegemony High Council, 12 of the most powerful beings in the galaxy staring down at him from their elevated positions. The council chamber on Hegemony Prime was designed to intimidate with soaring crystalline columns and gravity-defying architecture that reminded visitors of their insignificance. 40 ships, High Counselor Vex Mera said, her voice like ice. 40 of our finest warships neutralized by a single human vessel. Yes, Counselor, Dravkor replied evenly. The same humans whose technology you assured us was primitive, added Counselor Thran, the massive Ursoid's fur bristling with anger. Dravkor inclined his head slightly. I was wrong. We were all wrong. Explain this phantom vessel, demanded Counselor Zex, gesturing to the holographic projection between them showing the sleek black ship that had humiliated the Hegemony Vanguard. Our analysis suggests it employs quantum field technology far beyond what we believed possible for their civilization, perhaps beyond what even we considered theoretically viable. Dravkor explained. It can selectively disrupt electromagnetic fields at a quantum level, essentially rendering our systems inoperable without physically damaging them. How did they develop this? Asked Counselor Nari, the ancient luminary's body glowing with patterns of concern. Unknown, Dravkor admitted, but I have a theory. 70 years ago, a precursor artifact was discovered on their 4th planet, Mars. Our observers at the time deemed it unimportant, a minor relic with no significant technology. We may have miscalculated. Silence fell over the chamber as the implications became clear. What do you propose? Vex Mera finally asked. We must respond decisively, Dravkor said. I request command of the Grand Fleet. We will overwhelm them with numbers. Even their advanced ship cannot neutralize hundreds of our vessels simultaneously. The council members exchanged glances before Vex Mera nodded. You have 3 days to prepare. Do not fail us again, Fleet Commander. In the Lunar Command Center, Captain Marcus Rivera studied the tactical display with growing concern. Massive hyperspace distortions were forming at the edge of the solar system. They're bringing everything, he noted grimly. Dr. Chen nodded, her face illuminated by the blue glow of the displays. As expected, the Phantom was impressive, but they now know what they're facing. Or they think they do, General Hammond added. Rivera turned to Chen. Is the Nemesis ready? Almost, she replied. The integration is at 92%, but we need at least 12 more hours. And the pilot? Hammond asked. Chen's expression darkened. Lieutenant Kira is stable. The neural interface is taking a toll, but she insists she can handle it. Rivera frowned. I should be the one piloting Nemesis. I have more experience with the quantum systems. And you're needed in Phantom, Chen countered. We can't risk losing both of our best pilots in one engagement. Besides, Kira's neural plasticity scores are the highest we've ever recorded. If anyone can handle a full interface, it's her." General Hammond interrupted, pointing to the tactical display. "They're forming up near Jupiter's orbit. Over 300 vessels, including what appears to be their flagship, that massive structure at the fleet's center." Chen studied the readings. "The Phantom's quantum disruption field won't affect more than 20 or 30 ships at once, not at that distance from each other." "Then we need a new strategy," Rivera said firmly. Aboard the Hegemony command ship Eternal Dominance, Dravkor surveyed his assembled fleet with satisfaction. 342 warships, nearly a third of the Hegemony's total military might. Positioned in a multi-layered defensive formation that no single vessel could possibly overcome. "Status report," he commanded. "All ships report ready, Commander," his executive officer replied. "Quantum shielding has been implemented across the fleet as you ordered. If the human vessel attempts the same disruption technique, only a small percentage of our ships would be affected." "And the new targeting protocols?" "In place. Our weapons will track even vessels with advanced stealth capabilities." Dravkor nodded. "Begin the advance. Steady pace. Maintain formation integrity." As the massive fleet began moving toward Earth, Dravkor felt a strange sensation he hadn't experienced in centuries. Doubt. Something about this scenario felt wrong, like walking into an ambush. But what could a single planet possibly do against the might of the Hegemony Grand Fleet? "Commander," his sensor officer called out suddenly. "We're detecting an energy surge from Earth's moon." "The Phantom?" Dravkor asked sharply. "No, sir. Different signature entirely. Much more powerful." Lieutenant Sophia Kira lay suspended in a translucent gel within the heart of the Nemesis. Unlike the Phantom, which still used conventional controls augmented by neural interfaces, the Nemesis was something else entirely, a true symbiosis of human and machine. Thousands of microscopic neural connectors linked Kira's nervous system directly to the ship's quantum core. She didn't pilot the Nemesis. She was the Nemesis. Every system, every capability existed as an extension of her consciousness. "Neural integration at 98%, came Dr. Chen's voice, seeming to emanate from everywhere and nowhere at once. "Sophia, how do you feel?" Kira didn't respond verbally. She didn't need to. Her thoughts flowed directly into the ship's communication systems. "Ready. I can see them all. So many ships." "Remember your training," Chen cautioned. "Don't lose yourself in the sensory input. Stay focused on your core consciousness." "I understand." Preparing for emergence. Deep beneath the lunar surface, massive doors slowly parted, revealing a vertical launch shaft. Within it rose a vessel unlike any humanity had built before. Where the Phantom was sleek and black, the Nemesis was almost crystalline. Its hull comprised of a lattice-like structure that seemed to phase between solid matter and energy. As it cleared the lunar surface, the ship briefly caught the light of the distant sun, refracting it into a dazzling prismatic display before its adaptive camouflage engaged, rendering it nearly invisible. Inside the command center, Dr. Chen watched the Nemesis ascent with a mixture of pride and apprehension. "Nemesis has launched successfully. Captain Rivera, you're clear to deploy Phantom." The Hegemony fleet had just passed Mars when their sensors detected the first human vessel, the now familiar Phantom, approaching rapidly from Earth orbit. "Single vessel on intercept course," reported the tactical officer on the Eternal Dominance. Dravkor's expression hardened. They send one ship against hundreds. Arrogance or desperation. They may believe their quantum disruption technology will be equally effective against multiple targets, his executive officer suggested. "Unlikely," Dravkor replied. "They must know we've adapted. This is a diversion. Maintain alert status for additional vessels." The Phantom accelerated toward the Hegemony fleet, moving with the same impossible grace it had displayed during the first encounter. But this time, the Hegemony was prepared. "Target locked," reported the weapons officer. firing solutions plotted for all forward batteries. Dravkor raised a hand. Not yet. Let them make the first move. As the Phantom approached, it suddenly pulsed, just as before, and a wave of quantum disruption spread outward. 28 hegemony vessels on the fleet's perimeter instantly lost power, drifting helplessly. As predicted, Dravkor noted with satisfaction. The effect is limited by distance and energy requirements. No. Commander. The sensor officer interrupted, voice rising in alarm. New contact. It appeared from nowhere, inside our formation. Impossible. Dravkor strode to the sensor station. Show me. The tactical display updated, showing something that defied explanation. A second human vessel, but unlike anything they had encountered before. Its structure seemed to flicker between states of matter, like solidified light constantly rearranging itself. What is that? He whispered. Before anyone could respond, the strange vessel expanded, not physically, but energetically. A sphere of shimmering quantum distortion radiated outward at impossible speed. As it passed through each hegemony ship, systems failed catastrophically, not just temporarily disabled as with the Phantom, but completely burned out, circuits fused, computers erased. Within moments, 60 hegemony warships were completely neutralized. Evasive action. Dravkor ordered. All ships, maximum dispersal pattern. But the crystalline vessel moved with impossible speed, appearing and disappearing throughout the formation, each manifestation followed by another pulse that disabled dozens more ships. Within the Nemesis, Sophia Kira existed in a state beyond normal human consciousness. She perceived the battlefield in dimensions the human mind wasn't designed to process, seeing quantum potentialities, probability waves, the underlying fabric of space-time itself. The hegemony ships appeared to her not as physical objects, but as complex patterns of energy and matter, patterns she could disrupt with a thought. Each jump through quantum space, each pulse of the Nemesis's core technology, was an extension of her will. But the strain was immense. Human consciousness wasn't meant to operate on this level. With each ship she disabled, Kira felt herself slipping further from her humanity, becoming more ship than person. Target cluster identified. Initiating quantum jump. The Nemesis disappeared from normal space, briefly existing in a state of quantum superposition before reforming directly in front of the hegemony flagship. How is this possible? Dravkor demanded as the crystalline human vessel materialized before his command ship. Nearly half his fleet now drifted powerless, and the remaining vessels were scattering in panic. Sir, it's using some form of localized quantum tunneling, the science officer replied, voice trembling. It's not just disrupting our systems, it's rewriting the fundamental laws of physics in its vicinity. Concentrate all fire on that vessel, Dravkor ordered. Energy weapons from 100 ships converged on the Nemesis, only to pass harmlessly through its shifting crystalline structure. Our weapons have no effect. Dravkor stared at the impossible ship hovering before his flagship. Centuries of military experience, dozens of successful campaigns, and he had never encountered anything like this. For the first time in his long life, Fleet Commander Dravkor knew true fear. A communication channel opened, displaying a human female's face. Her eyes had an unnatural glow, and lines of energy seemed to pulse beneath her skin. Hegemony Fleet Commander, she said, her voice overlaid with harmonic resonances that made it seem like many speaking as one. This is Lieutenant Sophia Kira of Earth Defense Vessel Nemesis. Your presence in this system is terminated. You have one opportunity to retreat with your remaining functional vessels. Who are you people? Dravkor asked, genuine awe in his voice. How did you develop this technology? Kira's expression remained impassive. We are humanity. We took what was discarded and made it transcendent. We saw what was deemed impossible and made it reality. The precursor artifact, Dravkor realized. A gift you left behind, Kira confirmed. A foundation we built upon and perfected. Your scientists abandoned quantum field theory as too dangerous. We embraced the danger and mastered it. Dravkor considered his options. With over half his fleet disabled and the rest unable to harm this vessel, continuing the fight would be suicide. We will withdraw, he said finally. But know this, the hegemony spans thousands of worlds. This defeat will not be forgotten. Kira's lips curved in the slightest smile. Neither will this warning. Earth is not alone. We have detected 17 other civilizations subjugated by the hegemony. We have shared our technology with them through quantum entanglement communication. By the time you return to Hegemony Prime, your empire will already be crumbling. The communication cut off, and the crystalline vessel vanished once more. 3 days later, Dr. Chen stood beside Lieutenant Kira's recovery pod. The young woman lay unconscious, monitored by a dozen medical devices. Interfacing with the Nemesis had taken a severe toll. Neural pathways burned out, synapses damaged from processing quantum states no human mind was designed to handle. Will she recover? Captain Rivera asked, entering the medical bay. Eventually, Chen replied. Each interface causes damage, but the brain adapts, creates new pathways. She'll be stronger next time. Let's hope there isn't a next time, General Hammond said, joining them. The Hegemony fleet has passed beyond Neptune's orbit. Long-range sensors show them entering hyperspace. They'll be back, Rivera noted grimly. Yes, Chen agreed, but not as conquerors. They'll return as diplomats. Her gaze drifted to a separate chamber where the precursor artifact was kept. A small crystalline structure that had taught humanity how to manipulate the quantum fabric of reality itself. We've changed everything, she said softly. The balance of power, the future of countless species, all because they underestimated us. Kira stirred in her pod, eyes fluttering open. Though weak, her voice carried a hint of the power she had wielded. They laughed at our ships, she whispered. They won't be laughing anymore. Outside the lunar facility, the Phantom and Nemesis rested in their secure bays, their advanced technologies now the cornerstone of humanity's unexpected ascension to galactic prominence. And across the vast distances of space, 17 subjugated civilizations began their own journeys of liberation, guided by the quantum whispers of a species that had turned mockery into might.